Tanja Pajevic, author of The Secret Life of Grief. When my mom died, I found myself feeling cut off, kind of isolated and alone, especially after the funeral, when there seemed to be a general expectation that was time for me to return to my life and kind of pull it together, get back to normal. But I couldn't do that. I wasn't the same person that I'd once been, and I couldn't just stuff my feelings and pretend that I wasn't grieving when I was. I had done that once before when my father died, 20 years before my mother's death. I was 22, straight out of college, and it really impacted my life. It really derailed my 20s. And so I didn't want to do this time around. I was 42 when my mom died. I had 2 young kids, and I wanted to grieve consciously, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what that meant. So I started looking around and researching and trying to figure out, well, how do I do this? And I thought that there was some sort of a roadmap. I figured there must be. I mean, we all grieve. We all lose a loved one. We may not talk about it, but we've all been there. So there's got to be something showing me how to do this. But I didn't really find that. Especially not in American culture where we no longer have clear mourning rituals. So I set about trying to create my own. I was living in this sort of secret parallel world, at least that's how I felt at the time. And it took me, I'd say, a few months of reaching out here and there where I started to notice that I started meeting other people, allowing myself to be more vulnerable, to share my story, and finding other people who'd also been there, who'd also lost a loved one, who lost a parent, or maybe both parents, or a spouse, or a child. And I began to see that everything that I was going through was totally normal. I'd felt like it wasn't because I was going through it alone. I felt like that intense sorrow, that intense anger, all those feelings were that I was almost crazy for feeling that when I didn't see it going on in anyone around me. But then, bit by bit, talking with other people, I began to and doing my own research, I began to realize, wow, this is totally normal. This is what we all go through. So why are we doing this thing called grief, cut off, at home, alone, without the support we need, without knowing, without the realization that there are other people out there going through the exact same thing? I just thought that was really pretty crazy. So that was why I wrote this book, because I wanted to give voice to this larger story out there. I wanted someone else who was going through what I was going through to know that they weren't alone, that they weren't crazy, that in fact, grief is a normal and real and a healthy human emotion. And it's something that if we really want to live a full life, that we need to move through. That there are strangely, oddly gifts that can arise from that. We can become more authentic people. We can live deeper, more meaningful lives, create more loving, joyful connections with our loved ones. But all of that came as I was going through the journey, and it is a journey. It is a journey, and it continues to be a journey. But at its heart, I just want people to know that they're not alone. This is something that we've all gone through. It's something we will all go through.